In today's video, we're going to share with you everything you need to know about the latest 2025 dining plans here at Walt Disney World. We're going to share with you our best tips and tricks, and we're going to take you along with us inside the parks and resorts and show you step by step, screen by screen, how to get the most out of Disney's newest dining plans. Let's go do it. Hi-ho everybody, this is Rob with Ear Scouts coming to you from Disney's Pop Century Resort. We're staying here for a couple nights so we can show you how the Disney dining plan works. Because of the holiday, we already had plans to do lots of fun things in the parks, so this was kind of the perfect opportunity for us to show you how to use the dining plan in a real-world scenario and the different challenges that can pop up. We're going to show you the good and the bad to help you decide if you want to use the Disney dining plan on your next vacation, and most importantly, how you're going to use it and get the most out of it. We've got a little bit of time before our room is going to be ready, so this is the perfect opportunity for us to go over the basics of the Disney dining plan. The Disney dining plan can be added to any vacation package that includes a stay at a Disney-owned Walt Disney World Resort hotel. We're going to throw the list of those up on the screen right now. If you're staying at one of these hotels and you're also either purchasing park tickets or you have military tickets or an annual pass, you're able to book what is called a vacation package. Vacation packages can have the dining plan added to them. If you're purchasing park tickets, you can just do the whole thing online, but if you're using an annual pass or those military tickets I mentioned, you will need to call Disney to have the dining plan added, or you could just work with a Disney certified travel planner who will help you book your entire vacation at no charge to you. And in many cases, they can actually help you save money and make your life a lot easier. One of the limitations of the Disney dining plan is you do have to add it for every single night of your stay, although there is a little bit of a workaround you might want to consider that we'll show you later in this video. There are two Disney dining plans to choose from: the less expensive quick service dining plan and the standard Disney dining plan. The quick service plan comes with 2 quick service meals and a snack per night of your stay, along with a resort refillable mug for unlimited soda, coffee, tea, and hot cocoa at any Disney-owned resort hotel. Or you could get that standard dining plan, which comes with 1 quick service meal, 1 table service meal, and 1 snack per night of your visit, along with that same fancy-dancy mug. Children ages 3 to 9 get a less expensive kids version of these dining plans, and they are exactly the same, except they have to order from the kids menu at restaurants where one is available. At restaurants without a kids menu, they can choose from the same meals as everyone else. Kids under the age of 3 don't get a dining plan, and according to Disney, they're welcome to eat off of everyone else's plate, which seems a little bit weird to me, but hey, they're free. So if you want to order something for them, you could. It's not like you've paid for them to have a dining plan. It just means that they're not going to have anything included with the package. Quick service meals include 1 entree, which typically comes with a side item, plus a beverage of your choice. If you're over 21 and so inclined, you can get an alcoholic beverage, including beer, wine, or cocktails. There are some limitations. For example, beverages that come in a souvenir cup or a top shelf cocktail might not be included, but for the most part, most drinks are able to be included with the dining plan, even at the quick service level. If you're ever in doubt, you can always ask your server or a cast member, and sometimes you can also see whether things are included by checking them on the app. With that regular Disney dining plan, of course, you can get table service reservations as well. Those table service credits give you a meal at one of the fancier sit-down restaurants at Walt Disney World, which can often include extras like characters. Table service restaurants also include the addition of dessert, and in many cases, table service restaurants are served family style, where they'll keep bringing you more food and you can eat as much as you care to eat. There are also a lot of buffet options that you can book using the table service dining plan. Snacks are probably the most complex item included in the dining plan. They can be anything from a bottle of water to a piece of fruit to a packaged snack. But the best way to use snack credits is at the different restaurants where you'll see a menu item with a little Disney dining plan icon. In many cases, These are the higher dollar items that you can get with your snack credits, and they tend to be a lot tastier than the prepackaged snacks or bottles of soda or water you're going to find at your resort. Plus, if you're here during an Epcot festival, a lot of the different festival food booths will have food items that are included as Disney snacks, and these can often give you the biggest bang for your snack buck. Which brings me to the question of price and whether or not you can actually save money using the Disney dining plan. Now, sometimes the Disney dining plan is offered for free with your hotel stay, which sounds like that's obviously going to be a great deal. How are you going to lose money with a free dining plan? But the catch with those free dining deals is they only apply to full price rack rate stays at Disney hotels, and in many cases you could get a discount that would save you even more money than you're getting by having the dining plan added for free. This is definitely one of those things where you're going to want to do your research or work with one of those certified Disney travel planners who can find those deals for you. So how many bucks exactly are we talking about here? Well, let's go over the new pricing for 2025. The quick service plan for adults is now $59 and some change per night and $24 and some change for kids, but we're just going to round those up to $60 and $25 per night to make things easier to figure out as we're budgeting. The standard dining plan is $97 and some change for adults and $30 and some change for kids, so we'll round those up to $98 and $31 respectively. So now let's do some quick math on how much we need to eat and drink to make this thing worthwhile. We'll say that the refillable mug is worth $5 a day. Since you can only use this mug at resorts, you can't refill it at the parks, you're probably only going to use this thing maybe once or twice a day. So I'm budgeting that it's going to save you from buying roughly one drink, which is about $5. As for that snack item, those tend to be around the $5 range. You can certainly find snack items that are a lot more than that, but there are also a lot that are less than that. So we're going to say $5 is the standard rate for a snack. So after we do a little bit of math here, it appears that our quick service meals are worth about $25 for adults and $7.50 for kids. Moving over to the standard dining plan, we're paying $38 more for that one table service credit each night of our stay and $6 more for the kids version. So that means that table service credit is actually worth a whopping $63 for adults and $13.50 for kids. The reason I'm giving you these numbers is to make it easy when you're in the parks to quickly figure out if an item is worth it or maybe not so worth it. So if it's a snack item and it's worth more than $5, it's probably a good value on the dining plan. For quick service meals, if it's more than $25 for an adult meal or $7.50 for a kid's meal, then that's going to be a good value. But when it comes to table service dining, you're going to have to spend a whopping $63. Now that does include your drink, which can be a cocktail, but you need to spend more than $63 to make it worth it. It's easier for kids because they only need to spend $13.50 at those table service spots. I definitely recommend write these numbers down, put them in your phone, have them handy so that when you're in the parks, it's just an easy reference point to decide whether you want to use the dining plan for something, because that is an option. You don't have to use the dining plan for everything that you get on your Disney vacation. You can let the cast member know, or you can select in the app. We'll show you how, which items you don't want to include in the dining plan. So if something isn't a good value, but you want to order it, you could choose to pay cash for that item, or you could use the MagicBand or key card that you normally use to pay for things with your dining plan to charge it to your room on a cash basis as opposed to using dining credits. Of course, there's going to be some times where you want to order something that isn't more expensive than what's on the dining plan, and in those cases, it might make sense to just pay for those things out of pocket. You can either pay in cash or you can let the cast member know that you'd like to not use your dining plan for those items, and you can charge them to your room, but they'll be charged as cash and not use your dining credits. You do have to be careful with that though, because you don't want to end up at the end of your trip with a whole bunch of dining credits you didn't use, because they're not transferable. You can't take them with you. You can't use them on your next Disney vacation. Using the dining plan is easy. You can charge things with your MagicBand, or you can use your Key to the World card, also known as your hotel key card. You can also use Magic Mobile on your phone or watch. If you're not familiar with Magic Mobile or Magic Bands, we actually did a whole video just about those topics, and we'll put a link to that in the description down below. The important thing is you do have to let the cast member know that you're planning to use the Disney dining plan. If you don't let them know, they might just charge it to your room as cash, and then you'll end up spending a lot of money you weren't planning to spend and have a whole bunch of Disney dining credits at the end of your trip. For quick service restaurants, you can often use mobile order on the app, and I really like this for the dining plan because it really shows you exactly what it is that you're getting for your credits, what things are being charged as snack credits, and it makes it easy for you to just specify which things you'd rather pay for in cash. That's one of the things we're going to show you how to do as we take you along with us into the parks and resorts and use our Disney dining plan in a real world scenario. But for right now, I gotta go get checked into my room, and I will meet you back here when it's time to eat. We're all checked in here at Pop Century Resort, and even before I checked in, I was actually able to see our dining plan attached to the reservation. All I had to do was go into the main menu, tap on hotel reservations, and there I saw dining plan info as an option that I could tap on. It showed me on that screen all the different credits that we have available to use for our entire trip. We're staying for 2 nights, which means 3 days, but remember, the number of credits you have is going to be tied to the nights of your stay, not the days that you're here. I think when most people imagine using the Disney dining plan, the first thing that comes to mind are restaurants at the different parks and resorts, but don't sleep on Disney Springs. Some of the best restaurants here in Orlando are actually at Disney Springs, and one of those restaurants is actually one of my favorite places to eat in all of Walt Disney World. I go there a lot. Pretty much anytime I'm at Disney Springs and I'm looking for something to eat, this is at the top or near the top of my list. It is Polite Pig. It's a barbecue restaurant that's actually been recognized by the Michelin Guide as a recommended restaurant here in Orlando. It is definitely worth the praise. And best of all, you can actually use a quick service credit there. How crazy is that? We're gonna have Michelin recognized food using a quick service credit. Let's go do it. Here at the Polite Pig, you can order any of the entrees on the menu or any of the sandwiches. Also, you can add a side to those items, and you can add a drink. If you're over 21 and you're so inclined, that drink can be one of their many delicious alcoholic beverages, from beer to wine to cocktails. There are a select number of premium cocktails that can't be included as part of the quick service plan. However, you can choose to use a table service credit instead. In that case, you would be able to order one of those top shelf cocktails like their famous Old Fashioned, and you would also be able to add a dessert to your order. We chose to get the Butcher Board, which is technically a meal for 2. And whenever you do that, you are gonna have to use 2 of your dining plan credits to order that meal. Having said that, in this case, I think it is well worth it. I love being able to try all the different amazing smoked meats that they have here. It comes with 2 different sides. We went with the mac and cheese. Always get the mac and cheese here. It's so good. We also went with a seasonal side they're doing for New Year's. It was collard greens and black-eyed peas. If you're from the South, you know you gotta eat that for New Year's. It's basically obligatory. So we did order that. You can also add smoked turkey or ribs. We chose to add the ribs. Now, that's not included with the quick service dining plan, so we did choose to pay cash for that. The good news is you can charge it directly to your room. You don't need to have a different payment method. Just let them know what you want to use your dining plan credits for and what you'd like to pay cash for, and they can work it all out for you. Every single thing we had here was delicious. This is one of my favorite spots for a reason. There are other Disney quick service restaurants that I love, and we'll definitely hit another one of those while we're using the dining plan, but I don't think there's another quick service restaurant in all of Walt Disney World, the parks or the resorts, that has the same quality of food that you're gonna find here. I mean, these recipes were originally developed by a James Beard award-winning chef, and as I said, This place has been recognized just this year as part of the Michelin Guide. It's a recommended restaurant here in Orlando. A lot of folks will recommend that you should always order the most expensive thing on the menu to make it worth it, to get the biggest bang for your buck. My feeling is a little bit different. Yes, I do think you should be conscious of what things cost, and if it's not a good value to use your dining plan credit, you should let them know that you'd like to use cash instead for that meal. Having said that, this was definitely a meal that was over that threshold. We were definitely getting more for our money than we would have if we paid cash using the dining plan credit, and it was what I actually wanted to eat. If you just focus on ordering the most expensive thing when it's not really what you want to eat at the restaurant, yes, you might be getting a slightly bigger bang for your buck, but are you really having a better time? Are you getting what you really want to get out of your Disney vacation? I would argue not. So if that's gonna be the thing that's kind of in the back of your mind and you're always feeling pressured to order that most expensive thing on the menu, maybe the dining plan isn't the best idea. You could probably save money by just ordering what you really want and skipping the dining plan altogether. Well, now it's time for us to catch the bus back to the resort so we can head over to Epcot for New Year's Eve, and who knows, maybe we'll find some more creative uses for our dining plan tonight at the park. Let's go do it. We're here at Epcot to celebrate New Year's Eve, and this is definitely my favorite place to celebrate New Year's Eve. But first, we're gonna go pick up our resort refillable mug that comes with the Disney dining plan over here at the boardwalk. Now, why am I picking this up at the boardwalk? Well, mainly because I wanted to show you that you can actually pick up your mug initially at any resort. It doesn't have to be at the resort where you're staying, but more importantly, you can refill it at any resort. Unfortunately, however, you cannot refill your mug inside the parks. You will have to go to a resort to do it. But that's where Epcot is kind of special, because there are 3 resorts essentially right here behind Epcot. You've got Boardwalk, Beach Club, and Yacht Club, all right here within walking distance. So it's really not hard to bring your crew over, refill all your mugs, or if it's a chillier night like tonight, maybe get a little bit of hot cocoa. And it's definitely worth the stroll over for a bunch of free drinks. For me though, I always love an excuse to come to Boardwalk, especially on a big party night like tonight. This is one of my favorite resorts just to hang out at and to have a good time. Not only can you refill this mug at any of the Disney resort hotels, you can also continue to refill it for 14 days, no matter how long the length of your dining plan is. Another thing that's helpful to know, if you don't have your mug with you, you can hold on to your receipt and show this at any of the Disney resort hotels, and they'll give you a regular cup to use instead. But now, my friends, it is time for us to head into Epcot and celebrate the new year. But don't worry, we're gonna use the magic of editing to take you forward through space and time to 2025, where we will continue this dining plan adventure. Let's go. And here we are in 2025 at Pop Century Resort. It seems only fitting that we're celebrating the close of the first quarter century here at Pop Century. But what I want to do to start out my second quarter of this century is go get some breakfast. So let's head over to the quick service spot here at Pop Century. Everything Pop. Since this is the first time we're going to be using the dining plan at a Disney quick service restaurant, I want to talk about mobile ordering. This is definitely the easiest way for you to manage your dining plan credits and make sure you see exactly what it is that you're getting for your credits and whether or not it's worth it. Now, you don't have to mobile order to use the dining plan. You could just go up to the register and let the cast member know that you'd like to use your dining plan for your meal, and they'll work it all out for you. But in that instance, you can't really see exactly what it is that you're getting with those credits. So that's why I like, especially for your first meals, as you're learning how the dining plan works, use mobile ordering. It makes it really clear. This morning, I wanted a relatively light breakfast, so I decided to get the avocado bowl. That one is $10.49. I didn't want to get a drink because I've got my refillable mug, so I could use that to get coffee, which is what I really wanted with my bowl. So that means the total of my meal would be $10.49. So you'll see when I go to check out in the app, it's going to calculate what the dining plan equivalence would be for what's in my cart. But remember our formula that we figured out earlier. To make the dining plan worth it, I need to spend $25 on a quick service meal. This is $10.49. That's not even close. So it definitely makes more sense for me to pay cash for this one instead of using the dining plan. It's really easy to do that though. All you have to do is tap on that dining plan options button in the checkout, and then it's going to let you choose whether you want to use a quick service credit, a table service credit, which would be truly crazy. We definitely don't want to do that. Or we could choose to pay for this item without using the dining plan, which is what we're going to opt for. While we're here in the mobile order screen, I want to point out a couple of other things. One is on the main menu. You'll see up there at the top, it says that certain menu items are going to require 2 dining credits. This is referring to the pizzas that they sell here at this particular quick service spot. You can get a whole pizza here, and that's not intended to be a meal for one person. It's intended to be a meal for more than one person, so it does cost 2 credits if you want to get that. It would come with 2 drinks, however, since you're essentially getting 2 meals, but you'd have to do the math to figure out whether or not it's actually worth using 2 credits on that pizza. I would say in most cases, it's probably not. Probably better to pay cash for that item. The other thing that I wanted to point out is on the checkout screen. Notice that it does helpfully suggest to me that I'm not done adding things to my meal to get the most out of my dining plan. It tells me I can add a drink to this order. Always pay attention as you're checking out. Make sure that you read all the little things that pop up here, because if you didn't pay attention to that, you might miss out on the fact that you could have gotten a drink added to this particular order. So in the end, I actually didn't end up placing my breakfast order using mobile order because I wanted to show you guys one last thing. When you check out at any Disney restaurant and they give you your receipt, even if you're not using the dining plan, if you have the dining plan attached, they're going to give you this little extra receipt. It's going to show you the amount of credits you have left in each of the different categories, and this is really helpful for those folks who are maybe allergic to using the app. Well, now that we've enjoyed a delicious breakfast, I'm going to go refill my mug one more time. I'm going to get another cup of coffee, and then we're going to head over to our first park of the day. We're here at Disney's Hollywood Studios because I think of all of the parks here at Walt Disney World, this is probably the one where you can get the biggest bang for your buck in terms of quick service meals and table service meals. My favorite table service pick at this park is actually right behind me, Hollywood and Vine. The reason I love that as a pick is because number one, it's a character dining experience. So if you've got little ones, they get the experience of meeting Minnie and her friends, and they get dressed up in different holiday outfits. They'll do Christmas outfits and Halloween outfits depending on the season. But even better, you can get that reservation as part of a dining package. So Disney offers these things called dining packages. Here at Hollywood Studios, the dining package is for Fantasmic. And what that means is that in addition to your meal, they're going to give you a ticket that's going to let you sit in a special designated seating area over at Fantasmic, usually for the first show of the night. Now that show is going to get really packed even in that seating area, so you still have to get there relatively early, but you're going to get the best possible view of that show by having the dining package, as long as you show up at least 20 to 30 minutes before the show starts. Purchasing this dining package with cash would be $81 if you were dining here at Hollywood and Vine. But you can use your dining plan, a table service credit, so it really does become one of the best values in terms of table service meals here at Walt Disney World. We're actually not going to do that just because I've done it before and I really wanted to use this as an opportunity to try some things I've never tried. That's why we've actually got reservations tonight to go over to the Grand Floridian and check out 1900 Park Fair. They've got some characters there as well, and I'm very excited to check it out. But in the meantime, we're going to get a meal here. We're going to use one of our quick service credits. Probably the best value for your quick service credit is going to be over at Galaxy's Edge. Docking Bay 7 has some really cool, interesting themed foods that you can get. Those are on the higher priced end and they do qualify for the dining plan. They also have some fancy Batuan cocktails over there if you want to add that to your meal. But for me, I actually want to take you guys to one of my favorite quick service spots in this park. I always love going to ABC Commissary. It may not have as great a theming as they have over at Galaxy's Edge, but the food is really good. And they have one of my favorite sandwiches in all of Walt Disney World. It's a buffalo grilled cheese. Now, in terms of dining plan value, it really isn't all that great. But when I was looking at it on the mobile order, I noticed that they had an upgrade available that I'd never tried before. You can get some buffalo fries. That costs $2 extra. However, when I checked, it was included with the dining plan at no extra charge. So whenever you see those little upgrades, always check and see. Maybe it's going to be included. I also ordered a watermelon margarita, which was, I think, a $17 value. So this is definitely going to get me a big bang for my buck. But most importantly, it's what I actually want to eat for lunch. That was a delicious meal. Unfortunately, it also illustrates what I think is most wrong with the dining plan, and that is that it is just way too much food, especially when you're trying to maximize the value of it. I didn't even finish eating everything that I had on my plate just because I knew I needed to hold some space in my stomach for the buffet dinner I'm gonna have later tonight. And I definitely wouldn't be doing that if I were not using the dining plan. I probably would have just gotten a snack this afternoon, but unfortunately I've got these dining credits that I've got to use before they expire tomorrow at midnight. So it's like there's this clock counting and I feel like I have to eat so much food. Another minor problem is we have not even started to use our snack credits yet. We still have all 4 snack credits. I probably should have used a snack credit this morning for breakfast. Number 1, it would have made use of one of those credits. Number 2, it would have been a smaller meal and allowed me to more enjoy my lunch and my dinner tonight. But that's not really what I wanted this morning. I wanted that avocado bowl. But I am still determined. I'm going to use one of those snack credits while I'm here. I'm not going to let them go to waste. So I'm going to go enjoy the park for a little bit. I'm going to walk some of these calories off. And then I'm going to meet you over at Galaxy's Edge and show you one of my favorite spots to use a snack credit. We are here at the Milk Bar at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. This is definitely, I think, one of the most polarizing snack options you can get. A lot of people really strongly don't like blue milk. For me, I think it's okay, not one of my favorites. I prefer the green milk. What is for sure though is that both of those varieties are very expensive and it's kind of something that you want to try to at least say you've had it once. The dining plan, of course, makes that a lot more palatable because it's just a snack credit to try either blue or green milk. In fact, I'm trying something special that they've added to the menu. It's called a Tennu Swirl. I've never had it before, and the dining plan gives me the perfect opportunity to try it out. So let's go see how it is. I'm not gonna lie, of all the things I've tried on the dining plan thus far, this might be the thing I'm most excited to taste. And I don't even like blue milk, but it's very creatively prepared. It's definitely very cool to look at. I'm gonna give this a try. We'll see if it tastes as good as it looks. To me, it basically just kind of tastes like blue milk with some nerds in it. I don't really get a lot of flavor from the sauce that's on the outside there. If you've never had blue milk before, kind of tastes like an artificial fruit flavor, but you can't quite put your finger on what the fruit is. It is actually vegan. There's no dairy in here, and it doesn't really taste like dairy. It just tastes kind of like a nondescript fruit smoothie. I think the reason people really don't like it though is because it does have a little bit of an aftertaste of like, I don't know, almost like chapstick. But I do like the fact that the nerds in this definitely cut that aftertaste, because really what you mainly taste after a sip of this is the nerds. I am almost hungry again, which is a good thing because it is almost time for us to check in for our next dining reservation. We're going to take the boat over to the Grand Floridian to have a royal dining experience with some of our favorite princesses at 1900 Park Fair. Let's go do it. While that probably wasn't my favorite character dining meal, I really did enjoy that we had the opportunity to try something new, something that we probably wouldn't have otherwise done. And I think that is one of the best things about using the dining plan is it encourages you to do new things that you haven't done before because it's essentially low risk. I mean, you've paid for the dining plan, you've committed to all these different meals. So why not try something new along with some of your old favorites? I think character dining meals are a great use of the dining plan. Number one, because they typically are much more expensive than their traditional counterparts here at Walt Disney World. The food there was fine. It really wasn't amazing, but it was really about the experience. I think especially if you brought little kids who are in love with those characters, they're gonna have a blast in there. And the Grand Floridian is absolutely a beautiful place to visit on your Disney vacation. And if you didn't have any other reason to come by and see the beautiful Christmas tree or the life-size gingerbread house that's here during the holidays, this would be a good reason to come on over. Since this is our first table service meal that we're doing with the dining plan, there are a few things I wanted to make sure that you're aware of. Number one, your dining plan does not include table service reservations. This restaurant in particular can book up pretty quickly, so you definitely do want to make your table service reservations in advance of your visit. I would say this one is actually pretty mid-tier, but there are certain reservations like Cinderella's Royal Table, for example, that are near impossible to get. One other thing that's really important to know about table service dining with the dining plan, it does not include gratuity. Your dining plan covers the food and the beverage and dessert, but it does not include gratuity. So please take care of the cast member who's serving you. That's how they make their living. So don't forget to tip your server. They will bring out a bill that shows you what the cash equivalent of your meal is to help you decide what you want to tip. It's not going to charge you that amount. You're going to pay with your dining credits, and your server will explain to you how many credits you're using. And if there was anything that wasn't included, your server would let you know when you were ordering. If you decide you'd like to tip using the bill that the server provides you, that's just going to charge it to your room. So whatever card you have on file, that's what's going to get charged to cover that tip. You could, of course, also choose to tip in cash. I'm really glad we came here to the Grand Floridian because I just learned something that I did not know before, specifically about the dining plan. If you come to the gingerbread cottage that they put up every year for the holidays, they serve different gingerbread treats there, and they actually count as a snack credit. If you're using the dining plan and you were planning on getting one of those shingles or another gingerbread treat, it can be a good use of your snack credits. Good morning from Disney's Pop Century Resort. We are here on our checkout day now, and I'm guessing this is going to be a familiar moment to anyone who's used the dining plan. We have, surprise, surprise, snack credits left that we have not used. And that's just because we've been using these meals and we just haven't really been hungry in between the meals. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna head over to the quick service spot here at Pop Century, and we're gonna see what we can scrounge up for breakfast using snack credits. They definitely had a lot of good breakfast options that we're counting as snacks. If you were looking for something hot, probably the best value was going to be to get the steel cut oatmeal. You could have also gotten some potato barrels, but those would have come in right at that $5 mark. Since we were grabbing something to bring back to the room, we decided to check out the pastry case, and I'm glad we did because the Mickey-shaped cinnamon roll ended up being a pretty sweet value as a snack option. It was $7.50. We also got a PB&J croissant, which I've never had before, so I'm excited to try that one out. Once we're done with our snack credit breakfast, we're gonna pack up, check out, and head over to Animal Kingdom to enjoy our final quick service lunch. You might be wondering why we still have another quick service credit available. It's because Eric wasn't with me yesterday, so he wasn't interested in grabbing lunch. We had so much food, and that's definitely something that's gonna happen with your party because unfortunately, you can't just get the dining plan for certain members of your group. Everyone who's on the reservation has to get the dining plan. Now with your dining credits, Disney says the credits are designated to each member of your party, and you're not supposed to swap them between members of your party. Having said that, they all go into the same pool. There's nowhere on the app that says which credits belong to Eric and which credits belong to me. And Disney does say that you're allowed to share meals. I think the reason that they say you're not supposed to share credits is really when it comes to children, because obviously they don't want an adult going to a restaurant where they don't have a kids menu available and using one of those children's credits to order an adult meal. I think as long as you're not using a child's credit to purchase a meal for an adult, you're just fine using the credits how you see fit on your trip. So we're gonna head over to our favorite quick service restaurant here at Animal Kingdom, Satuli Canteen in Pandora, the land of Avatar. The meals here are a pretty good size, and we're kind of fine sharing a lunch today because we know we're gonna have a big meal for dinner. We've already mobile ordered our food, and once you add in the cost of the cocktail, we definitely exceeded the amount we were aiming for that quick service credit. That was a delicious use of a quick service meal credit, and I'm really glad that we shared it because we do have our dinner reservation tonight at our final table service restaurant. We're gonna head to Coronado Springs around 5:30. So I definitely didn't want to have a big lunch. But we're now doing pretty good with our credits. We've only got 2 table service credits left, which we're going to use at that dinner reservation we have tonight. And we have 1 final snack credit, which I've been intentionally holding on to because I want to share with you 1 final tip tonight at Coronado Springs. We're here at Coronado Springs for our final meal of our dining plan adventure. If you've never been to Coronado Springs, you might be surprised by how many restaurants, including some really high-end restaurants they have here. This is a moderate resort, but it actually has more restaurants than pretty much any of the deluxe resorts. The nicest restaurants at Disney World are what they call signature dining experiences, and for those you usually have to use 2 of your table service credits. But here at Toledo, it's not quite at the signature level, so it is a single dining credit, even though it's a really nice place. The interior is beautiful. It's got one of the best views you're gonna find of Walt Disney World, and the food is really good too. The main reason I wanted to come here, though, is because this menu is not as straightforward as a lot of the other restaurants you can eat at with the dining plan. There are lots of different high-end offerings, and there are offerings that are designed to be for 2 people. They're kind of like prefix meals. So I'm curious to see if we're going to be able to order those things on the dining plan. Let's go find out. What a wonderful meal. I think that restaurant is so underrated. A lot of people don't talk about it, but it's really good food. So the only thing that was really off limits was the chef's dinner for two, which included appetizers. And it made sense that that wouldn't be included because your dining plan doesn't include appetizers. However, you can get the bone-in ribeye, which is a meal for two. It comes with two sides. That's what we did. That's $110 value for that meal. And then of course you can still add your drinks and desserts. So put that on your short list of restaurants to consider because it really is a great deal when you're using the dining plan. And that bone-in ribeye was delicious. Once again, I do want to remind you, if you're doing the traditional dining plan, the one that comes with table service meals, you really do need to budget for tips. For just the two of us for 2 days, we spent about $100 in tips. Now, we did go to a quick service spot that was a tipping spot, which that's probably not something that everyone would normally do. But especially if you're thinking you're going to add some drinks to your order, in addition to the ones that come with the dining plan, the bill is going to add up. And of course, you're going to want to take care of your server, the cast member who's taking care of you. So make sure you keep a good, healthy tip budget in addition to your budget for the dining plan itself. We still have one final credit left. We have a snack credit. And the reason I wanted to hold this one off until last is because I feel like this happens to a lot of people. I certainly see it a lot online when people are leaving comments in different forums that they just end up with these snack credits that they haven't used at the last minute. And so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go into the gift shop here, Panchitos. We're gonna see what we can get with that stray snack credit and see, who knows, maybe we can find a fun surprise to take home with us. We looked at pretty much everything that was a food item. Thankfully, everything that could be a snack credit did have one of those little Disney dining plan snack credit icons beside it. Probably the most surprising thing that was a snack credit item was like the sliced cheese, you know, the kind you make grilled cheese sandwiches out of. You could get a package of sliced cheese as your snack item. I think probably the most popular things to get though, as you're leaving your resort, are things that could be little souvenirs or maybe gifts for someone back home. They had bagged candy and cookies. They even had those oversized lollipops. You could take those. We ended up just grabbing a bag of candy. It was $7.49. So I feel like that was a pretty good value for our final snack credit. And speaking of value, we spent $392, give or take, for the two of us for 2 days with the dining plan. And when we added everything up, all the things that we spent over the course of these 3 days that we've been using it, it was $555. So we definitely got a great value. Having said that, I don't think we could have kept up this pace of eating for another day. And that brings me to my final really important tip that I think you should consider. If you really want to do the dining plan, maybe you want to try some of these higher end restaurants and really get your money's worth out of it, you might want to consider what's called a split stay. So what that means is you're going to stay at 2 different Disney resort hotels during your visit. You could do a shorter visit at one hotel and attach the dining plan to that reservation. That way you've only got 2, 3, maybe 4 days of dining plan meals, and then the rest of your visit you just pay out of pocket for your meals. But that way you don't feel like you're constantly eating so much food to make it all worth it. For some people though, I imagine it's just about that feeling of an all-inclusive vacation, and you're not going to worry so much about whether or not it's a great value. You're just going to enjoy the food that you're going to get here. And if that's the case, then go ahead, add it to your whole vacation and just make it part of the package deal. But ultimately, the best way that you can decide whether or not this dining plan is right for you is to do a little bit of advanced planning. Look at the different restaurants here at Walt Disney World, decide where it is that you'd want to eat and what it is that you'd want to eat. You can pretty much do a quick back of the napkin math. Using the cheat sheet that we gave you, we'll put it up on the screen again right now. You can kind of see, are a lot of the things that you're looking to order above that threshold? Are they going to be a good value for you? And if you see that happening again and again, maybe the dining plan is going to be a good deal for you. But if the things you really want to eat are coming in below that threshold, then maybe the dining plan isn't the best choice for you. Well, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, help us out by giving this video a like, subscribing to our channel, and then ringing that bell. That way you'll be notified whenever new videos like this come out. I also want to give a huge thank you to our Patreon family. Thank you so much for making videos like this possible. If you'd like to join them and get access to exclusive bonus content, head on over to patreon.com/earscouts. Until next time, don't forget to think happy thoughts, everybody. We'll see you again real soon.